Hello, welcome back to the Good, Bad and Stupid News. It's Wednesday the 4th of September. Good news arises now on Spotify, I believe. I found one yesterday. I've tried to put it on there numerous times and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Numerous emails back and forth and anyway, there's one on there today, so feel like a bit of a pop star. Shit one, but a pop star. But that's okay because it's the shit ones that make all the money, isn't it? So not sure how many listeners I'm going to get through that, but still, it's there if you want it, and also it's on iTunes and YouTube, which you might be watching on just now. Going to get straight on with it almost straight away. But first of all, it's been the hottest and wettest summer on record, apparently, and I can vouch for that as of today because it's absolutely pissing down where I am at the moment, and I've just been to the shops and had to come in and change my clothes. So wrong weather clothes I went out, but I've got a newfound respect for the scaffold community because scaffolders, it's absolutely belting down out there. I mean, absolutely torrential, and scaffolders are just carrying on as if nothing's happened because they've just got to get the job done, haven't they? And they're whistling and singing and actually enjoying it more. I think they've got this kind of mindset where they've got to really kind of fucking dig in and ignore the fact that they're just getting smashed in the face by torrential rain, and they're just carrying on and they're whistling while they're working, sort of thing. So I'm with you, scaffolders. You know what I mean? No moaning there. They just carry on. They've probably got to be all day out there as well because there's loads. I mean, it's like a 4 houses long, 10 flats high. So, yep, they're going to be enjoying that bubble bath when they get home tonight. Anyway, that's for sure. So the politics is the big news, obviously, as it always will be for the next few months. But it's just a chess game, isn't it? So it's intriguing in some way or one shape or form. What was funny was somebody's put there's a picture going around on well, I saw it on Facebook, but it's a picture of the number 10 Downing Street door, and where it's got the number 10, somebody's like mocked up the I. But basically, it says idiot. So the 10 is in the middle, and the other ones look like, and it just looks like the word idiot is written on the door. Might be an old one. I mean, it might be from Theresa May's days. She fucking wears it well as well. But I thought that was quite funny. Whoever's mocked that up. Before I get on to the politics as well, I just want to say, because I've missed my chance to talk about it, was Eric Cantana the other day. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know if anybody saw that, but I'm sure he did. But I thought that was great. I just wanted to. I've missed my chance because it's meant to be topical, this, but it was a few days ago. But I'm going to say anyway, it's my party, and I'll talk about it if I want to. Eric Cantona was talking at the Football Awards, didn't he? And he came out with this kind of off-the-wall speech, acceptance speech about humans were eternal. Kind of like almost a poem, but what I liked about it is the fact that he knows what he's doing, and he's kind of all the footballers in the crowd, probably some of them with a very sort of fucking low IQ anyway. Not dissing them, but some of them were just like the brows were furrowed and they didn't know what the fuck was going on. But he does it on purpose, doesn't he? He's kind of like he's just got some balls to stand there and like front it because he knows what reactions he's going to get. He's doing it not just in front of those footballers who he knows he's going to get that reaction because they don't know what he's talking about, but he's doing it in front of the cameras and the world and everything. You know, if ever there was a time to just shut up, accept and, you know, watch your P's and Q's and just do it. But no, he's gone the other way. He's going to go, right, I'm going to say something totally off the wall, hold my nerve and fucking, you know, and see what people have got to say about it afterwards. Absolutely amazing. It's like a big stirring thing, you know. He's like created this. It's like a bit of art, really. You know what I mean? And like he held it well. And you know, he probably won't ever explain what the hell he was talking about. You can kind of probably read between the lines, but he's left it to you, and like it's a bit genius, you know. Genius on the pitch, genius off the pitch, be coming out with shit like that because it's, for me, very entertaining. And I wished I'd have said this the other day, but I forgot all about it. Anyway, let's get back to the idiot. No, I'm not calling him an idiot, but at the same time, Sean Ryder says it well, actually. Here is Sean Ryder said that Boris Johnson is a knob, but he thinks the Prime Minister gets away with it because he makes people laugh. Which is true. He's a character, isn't he? He's quite funny. He says Bez does all the political stuff, but I'll tell you what I think of Boris Johnson. Even though he's a plum in the mouth, old school Tory fucking knob, loads of people seem to like him, even though they're not conservatives. He's just a lying bastard, but he's just so funny. He is funny, but at the same time, the situation isn't funny, is it? Because it's like somebody has to be serious, which is coming from the other side. But it's a battle of wits, chess moves and stuff now, because they've got the upper hand. It's going back and forth, and it's like who's going to come out on top. There's a picture of Jacob Rees-Mogg, is it his name? The strains got to him there. That's the closest. There's a picture here I'm putting up if you're on the podcast of him lying on the benches in the Parliament room, asleep. He looks like, but that's the closest he's going to look like to a waif and stray, I imagine. But the tension's got to him a little bit there. So the ball's bouncing back and forth. Now it's like whether it's going to be a general election or whether the Brexiteers are going to force or join forces with Nigel Farage. It's a lot more to come on that, I imagine. But I can't really give my opinions on it because it's confusing me. It's a head fuck, isn't it? Really. So anyway, let's move on to something a little bit more. Bit more interesting other than Brexit. A music fan was given a pair of trousers. There you go. This is totally changed the topic. He was given a pair of trousers by Jimi Hendrix in 1967, and they would be worth 25 grand. But he feels like he's shortchanged. He might not be able to get that because he turned them up so he could wear them. So he's like turned up the trousers. And he's like devalued them. Says who? Have you actually been down and tried? Have you actually put them, advertised them to anybody that's a short Jimi Hendrix fan? Because maybe they'd want to pay the 25 grand. If the Jimi Hendrix is the Jimi Hendrix, isn't they? Maybe they've knocked a couple of grand off with your shit hem stitch or whatever. But still rock and roll memorabilia. What he should have done is keep your mouth shut. Nobody would have known. How would anybody have known that you took the trousers off? You'd have just you've actually killed your 25 grand by talking about it. Lose ships, sink ships is the phrase, isn't it? So you've just talked yourself out of a bit of money there. A woman here, a metal detectorists are in the news all the time at the moment, isn't they? It's making me want to get out with my metal detector. I actually do have one in the garage. I've never used it, but picked it up at a market for next to nothing, and never had the balls to go out and use it. I always feel like a knob walking around like with this the metal detector, but I might take it out one day because I keep seeing people coming up with loads of wins. You know, they're finding it all the time. I always think it's already been done, hasn't it? You're just going over where somebody else has been. But somebody's found a ring here, £10,000 gold ring. And it's a nice looking ring. It's got all marks all over it. No, it's not dented or anything. It's like a proper gold ring. And she's found it, and I think it belonged to a guy, Edward Coleman, who became a convert to Catholicism and was later found guilty of treason and hanged, drawn, and quartered, which is probably the fate that a lot of the politicians would be facing today under the circumstances of what's going on at the moment. As I said the other day, years ago they would have been murdered by each other, wouldn't they? But they've got, luckily, we've got soft over the years. So anyway, this guy got hung, drawn, and quartered for converting to Catholicism. But yeah, she found it in a ring somewhere, in a ditch somewhere. I always think when they find these rings and these kind of like a lot of rings get found, and they're just in a field somewhere, aren't they? They ain't like a bony finger attached to it. It's not like a skeleton. It's just, there must have just been they must have just been losing all their shit in those days, didn't they? There was always, oh fucking hell, where's my ring? Where's my bag of gold? Where's me fucking, I lost my necklace walking across that bog. It's always never where there's a body or where there's like somebody's like with the gold still with them. They just keep dropping their shit all over the place, don't they? Butterfingers they had in those days. So this guy lost his, or they're just making it up and creating a story because you're buying the story at the end of the day. A gold ring's a gold ring. If it's somebody's gold ring, I actually bought. I buy and sell sort of antiques and stuff, or try collectibles. But I bought a Roman ring once off somebody. I thought, oh, nice one, a Roman ring. Or I found out it was a Roman ring. I didn't buy it. They didn't know it was a Roman ring, but I found out it was a Roman ring. I was like rubbing my hands with glee. Wasn't worth anything because there's tons of it apparently. Romans were all over the place, weren't they? They were all over our country, all over the Europe, and they were dropping shit obviously left, right, and centre. So I thought I was going to be quids in, and it weren't worth very much. About 25 quid, in fact. That's £250,000 less than I thought it might be. So I learnt the lesson there. Also, I got a Greek jug. Bought it about the same time, and it was a Greek jug. And this is, I surprise people when I tell them I've still got it because it ain't worth nothing. But 2000 BC. That's before Christ. That's how old this jug is. It's worth about 75 quid, which is what I paid for it. So a lesson learnt there. I thought that was going to be worth a fortune. I was told that was worth, but that was like, what's that make it? 4,000 years old? 4,000 years old, or something along those lines. And it's not worth the millions I thought I had. So there you go. We live and learn. Done that one. Amazon haven't paid their tax in the country. £11 billion they made in the UK, and they paid 220 million in tax. I haven't got time to do the maths, unfortunately, but I think that is, on a percentage basis, next to nothing. Have they put it down there now? That is like, it's probably like 1% or something like that, something really ridiculous. So I have to copy that model if you want to get away with your tax. It's where to buy your stuff, isn't it, Amazon? I always look at something in the shops and think, oh, I bet that's cheaper on Amazon, unfortunately. So they've proper cornered the market. But yeah, if you can get away with it, you get away with it. Like this guy, a holiday couple came back from, and the politicians anyway, let's get back to the politicians, they're getting away with it left, right and centre. Tax dodging, it's probably what all the Brexit thing's about. The couple drove from France, come back from France, and this guy popped out. You got them boxes, roof boxes on the top of your car. A guy's popped out, they pulled up at their house, and all of a sudden, popped the cabinet, and this guy's jumped out of the box, the roof box. Look, right, imagine a guy climbing out of your luggage box on top of your roof. If you're not watching the video, so he's made it. I don't know what to say. I mean, he's made it, so good for him. If he's trying to get to safety or get to a better life, got to get away with it if you can, ain't you? I've snuck into nightclubs when I want a good night out. I've done my fair share of sneaking here and there, and if I can get away with a free plane ticket or get away with something for free or achieve your goal, then good for him. Obviously, the law's there to stop you, but if you make it, good on you. You got to just hold your hat off to him. He might that might ricochet onto lots of people in his life, families' lives, that he does well and supports other people. So can't knock it. This guy, I talked about this guy before, a former Marine that did a charity mountain climb carrying he wanted to break a world record carrying a rowing machine up a mountain. He thought he wanted to be the record holder for carrying a rowing machine up a mountain. Get my words out. And I said, clearly you're going to be the world record holder because nobody else has bothered to do that, because it's a random thing, isn't it? Carrying a rowing machine up a mountain. But anyway, he did it, and then he's left it up there, and he's been drilled now because he's littering Mont Blanc. He's left the rowing machine at the top of Mont Blanc, and the mayor of the town are going to bill him for it and whatever else. He's just gone, fuck it, I'm off back down. I ain't carrying it back down. But hold your horses. He left it up there because it was bad wind and bad weather. So he said that he's waiting for a date or time that he can go back up and collect it. So whether he actually left it up there and what's it called? He left it up there and sort of got caught, and now he's having to make an excuse as to he's going to go, oh no, I'm going to go and fetch it. I just left it there for a week or two. But he's going to go and fetch it back down, or he has to go and fetch it back down. So there you go. If you want to be a record breaker, there's only one person that's carried a rowing machine up the top of a mountain. Maybe you can go and fetch it for him and just be the fastest person to carry it back down a mountain. It's waiting, it's there. I mean, tell your grandkids about it. Get the photograph. A pensioner has attacked a chaplain and launched a foul-mouthed rant in front of dozens of children at its cathedral over its crazy golf course. Basically because the cathedral, imagine walking into a cathedral, they've just set up a massive crazy golf course in the middle of the centre of it. It looks actually quite good. You're not going to see it on here. Well, you might be able to see it on the video if we get up close. Proper, like, the whole floor is like made look like grass, and they've got all this. It's a huge one. It's quite cool. I think the vicar's using it a way of like coaxing children into the church. Maybe that's a bit like of a naughty way of trying to convert, but for converting to Christianity maybe. But this guy don't like it, and he's actually telling them. Well, he's saying that it smells of alcohol inside, and he's saying that the kids are all getting pissed in there. Well, how old are the kids? Strange thing to do, but it's summer holidays. I thought it's for the little kids, so they ain't going to be in there getting pissed, but clearly not. Must be a load of teenagers in there. Sounds like a party. If you want to get down to the church, crazy golf, a few cans of Skull. It's going on. You've got a week left because they are taking it down after the school holidays, I think. Right, H2, the H2 link has been is going to cost £22 billion more than its original budget, and it's saying that the second phase of it, Manchester to Leeds, is going to be now not until 2040. That's fucking miles away. Most of us will be dead by the time that comes about. But I'm more worried about the London to Birmingham section of it, because they're saying now, well, that one's going to be delayed by maybe 5 to 7 years. That's fucking bullshit. And then they're saying that maybe it may or may not happen. That's bullshit, because I'm from Birmingham, and I know that all the shit that's happening in Birmingham city centre to anticipate the H2 train, you know, all the infrastructure. Oh, it's good anyway, you need it, but new bars, new hotels, new tourist things, all the things that are going to come because of people using the train to come to Birmingham. It's all happening now in Birmingham city centre. So they're getting worried now that might kill. And they're anticipating people moving there to commute to London. So it's going to have an influx of people who can't afford to live in London, will live in Birmingham, commute back. But if they don't do that, or the fuck about with it like this, then it's going to stop people doing that. So it's going to stall again. The same thing happened with the last financial crash. They were doing loads of, things for the city, like Manchester did, and then all of a sudden it all died because of the crash. But anyway, we got Peaky Blinders. That's driving people there, tourism-wise, anyway. So. There's still a lot going on. Still a good place to go. Get yourself up to Birmingham. Don't worry, you won't catch the accent. Although a lot of Americans are digging it. Apparently, Americans are going, "What's this accent we haven't heard before?" After watching the Peaky Blinders, because it hasn't been used on a lot of dramas or whatever before, because it was only used as a piss take. But now I want to hear the accent more, so here, watch this podcast. You can listen to me. This is the Birmingham accent. What am I going? Where am I going here? A bailiff. A bailiff turned up at a guy's door. I like this. Was threatened with a bailiff over a £1,200 fine at his door, and he was threatened he was going to take his stuff away. And the guy basically paid him, or offered to pay him, in 1p coins. He gave him £1,200 in 1p coins, all in the boot of his car, like a mountain of 1p's. And the bailiff wouldn't take it. So and he thought, well, you know, laughed it off. The bailiff wasn't going anywhere. Now he wouldn't take the money. But they put him down as a non-payer. So he's going to the High Court. He's got to go to court and try and argue the fact that he was trying to pay. So we'll just see how that one goes, because the judge, really by the law, he was paying him, wasn't he? And I like that though, because I've been done by the bailiffs at the front door. £500 I had to pay because he clamped my van over a parking fine in London. I've argued parking fines and I've got away with them, and I should have got away with this one because I was parked with 2 wheels up on the curb in London, helping somebody move some stuff out of the house. I'd have been blocking the road if I wasn't 2 wheels on the curb. Apparently anywhere in the country you can park with 2 wheels on the curb apart from London, according to the highway code. If you don't live in London, how the hell do you know that? That was my argument. And anyway, I argued it. It went to £150. I carried on arguing because I thought, well, I'm not paying that now. It's escalated. So, well, I found myself at £500 and a bailiff at the door. So I had to pay him, and it was through gritted teeth. And I had to work all day that day, knowing that I was working hard to pay the bailiff. So a real pisser. So next time I'm going to remember this. Boots full of penny coins. Anytime you've got a bill, go and pay it that way. It'll piss them off, give them something to do. Britain's longest serving whistler, Sheila Harrod, has vowed to carry on her dying breath. Has vowed to carry on to her dying breath. The longest serving pro whistler. I never even know that there was an amateur or pro versions of the Whistler, the Premier League of whistling. She's like up there with Roger Whittaker, I imagine. She's going to carry on to her dying breath. I imagine much to her neighbours' disdain, because I'm pretty certain that that pisses off anybody within earshot. If somebody's whistling, if she's a champion whistler, she must be practicing non-stop or practicing all the time, isn't it? And that's going to annoy anybody. It's a wind-up when people whistle and get the tune wrong, or out. They're whistling according to how they hear it in their head, but to you, they're whistling it all out of tune or fucking it up. So it's one of them like bugbears when somebody's whistling and you're just going, do you mind, in your head you're saying, do you mind fucking shutting up? So anyway, a customer found a live frog in a salad that he bought at an Aldi store, and he's kept it as a pet in Hallstatt in Germany. So the frog has been on a journey, and he has been saved from being, well, he could have got accidentally eaten, so he's been saved from that. And now he's kept it as a pet. I think you should contact Aldi and get them to pay the maintenance of the frog for its lifetime. If they're with frog food, free frog food, if you're going to have to look after it, it's their fault that he's ended up in your house. So anyway, that's the good story for the day. The frog's survival. Good job he didn't eat it. Could have been a poisonous frog. Where are we going there? Where am I going with this? Al Pacino. Oh, yeah, Al Pacino turned down the starring role in Apocalypse Now because he didn't want to go onto a long film shoot abroad. So he turned down. He's had his fair share of fucking winners, so he's going to have had his losers, but that was a great film, wasn't it? But he gave up the opportunity to star in the film because he didn't want to go away, because that was away for a long time, apparently. And he just wasn't, I said, I just wasn't ready to do it. I was not in the right space for going away and doing a movie like that. He's just one of them people who likes his creature comforts, because they were probably roughing it in the jungle, weren't they? Because they having to live like the Vietnam vets and stuff. And Francis Ford Coppola has said that Pacino wouldn't do a film unless you did it in his house. So he's obviously it wouldn't do it unless you did it at his house. So he's obviously just thinking, I can't be bothered, mate. Nah, sorry, just can't be. Good director in that. He's like, nah, you know what? Fuck it, I can't be bothered. I'd rather stick closer to home with my creature comforts and stuff. So he should have just played the diva and said, I want a state of the art Airstream caravan flew over there, and I want all my home thing over in the Vietnam jungle. So anyway, it's crazy, isn't it, when you see that a lot of the films, it could have been different. All the people who would have or nearly did star in a particular film. Wonder whether the film would be what it was without the person who actually did take the film in the end. I'm crisscrossing back and forth here because I haven't put them in any kind of order, so you'll have to just bear with that, because now I'm going to talk about flip-flops. That's right, flip-flops, or Hermes. Hermes, the brand, has been told to take a hike after charging £335 for a pair of flip-flops, and they've been drilled because they look like a pair of £2 flip-flops, and they do. Look, if you can't see this because you're listening, imagine just a pair of flat black rubber flip-flops with just a black band. They look cheap, and they're being charged £335. So that's just for the plonker with too much money that picks them up and goes, yeah, it was an afterthought, because you chuck flip-flops in as an afterthought, probably ones like that, just a pair of spares for the beach or something. And whoever's got them have chucked them in. Sorry, are being like, if you're going to pay £335 for, I don't care how rich or multi-millionaire you are, if you don't see that they ain't worth it, then I want to come and sell you something, because a fool and his money and all that. Anyway, so I think about it. I need some flip-flops, but for my holidays when I go, but no, I'm not going to pay anywhere near that. £3.35. I need the decimal point in there for when I choose to buy some. Al Pacino, could have demanded some of those for the Vietnam jungle if he'd have gone over there. Put him on his list of diva demands. A woman, we're going to finish up on a couple of things here. Experts from both sides of the Atlantic are meeting in Rome next week on a mission to prevent asteroids from crashing into Earth. When I first read that, I thought, fuck, is that what's happening? Are they meeting as an emergency? But no, they're just thinking of ways to prevent it from happening in the event of it happening. So you can prevent it with all the smaller ones, but I think when the big one comes, it's time to say goodbye. They're going to fly. They're going to make rockets that can fly up and smash into the asteroid to make it disappear. But I think we're lucky that the asteroids that have come have always landed in the desert or something. Again, it's like when the aliens come, supposed aliens come. Aliens, that's their antennae. When the aliens come, they seem to fly in the areas where no fucker sees them. When the asteroids come, they smash into somewhere in the middle of the desert. They don't like land in the middle of New York City or somewhere, do they? And wipe it out. Or Middlesbrough and wipe it out. Start again. I'm only joking. Or just some crazy place. They just land in the middle of nowhere. So, but they're thinking of ways of smashing into them, just stopping them danger in life. But like I said, when the big one comes, we're not going to get away from it anyway. So we'll have to start again from scratch. They'll be finding all the landfill, the next group of people that created after the world has demolished, and then the new people, or the last people that have survived, they start think, what was here before, and then they find empty packet of crisps with Gary Lineker's face on it. I've said that one before. A mum hiding a cannabis tent in her son's bedroom claimed that she's growing sunflowers. She might have been in the lower stages of it, but she got caught out when her son actually gave the game away by saying that he had a funny smell in his room to school officers, is it? And they found the foil tent plant in the air filters. So got to get another room if you're going to do that. You can't do it. She's been caught out by, because kids can't lie, can they? Kids just fucking tell it like it is. So he's gone to him, there's a tent in my room with a funny smell in it. And everyone's going, oh yeah, it's making me feel dizzy and all that sort of thing. So she's got caught out by not being discreet enough, unfortunately. So remember that. If you're going to do it, you can't even let your child let you know something like that. Plus, I don't think it's illegal to... How many was she growing? You can grow up to... Apparently, up to 9 plants, that's what I heard. And she's been given a 9-month suspended sentence, so she must have been having a fucking field of them in there. So, biology lesson. So, he was probably learning, she was probably teaching him something because she was going to help with his biology. Right, what we're going to finish up on here. A second brown booby bird has been spotted in Britain. Remember the brown booby with all the bird watchers? And now apparently a second brown booby's come over. So it's all about the climate change, isn't it? Unless they've come over because they've heard about the what a great country Britain is to visit, coming over as tourists. It's been spotted in Cornwall. So we've gone to the right place for tourism, for a holiday. And it's been spotted with a bunch of shags, hanging about with the local shags. So that's like, that's fitting, isn't it? If when you're on holidays, come over for a shag or to meet the shags. But I don't even know what a shag is. I think a shag must be another bird of some description. So you got the boobies and the shags all meeting up in Cornwall for a party. Festival. So there you go. The boobies from Mexico and the Caribbean to come over and shagging all the shags in Cornwall. Sounds like a great place. I wish I want to get involved. Unfortunately, no, I've got to get to work today, so some of us got to carry on. I don't make any money from this podcast. Not yet. Not until Spotify takes off. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So I'm going to see you. I'm going to do another one tomorrow. So see you for that one. See you later. Bye-bye.